The question is very simple. The transformation took place in Medina, how people changed, their characters. What did the Prophet ﷺ do to change the people and the character and then their vision and then becoming world leaders?
هذا التحول هو نتيجة للنبوة. ظهرت النبوة وظهر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ونزل القرآن الكريم. فالوحي والقرآن هو من عند الله سبحانه وتعالى، والنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان هو المثال الحي للقرآن. لقد كان لكم في رسول الله أسوة حسنة، هو المثال الحي للقرآن. فتعاليم القرآنية والنموذج النبوي هذا هو أساس هذا التغير. فالقرآن كان يقدم القيم الجديدة والتعاليم، والنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان ترجمة لذلك بحياته وبحركاته وسكناته. سئلت عائشة عن خلق النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قالت كان خلقه القرآن، لكن يمكن أن نركز على الإيمان والسكينة. روح الإيمان. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ما غير عمل أحد، كان فيهم تجار، كان فيهم مزارعون، الزراعة، كان النجارين، كل أحد بقي على عمله، لكن الذي وقع الجديد هو الروح التي بثت في هذا العمل. أصبح العمل كله بطاعة الله وبالجهاد. عقد الأخوة بين الناس، أخوة بين المهاجرين والأنصار، فكسر العصبية الجاهلية. كانت الأخوة أساس المجتمع، مجتمع متآخي في السلم الاجتماعي. الشيء الثاني هو أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان مدرسة، كان الصحابة يجلسون للسماع منه، وكان واحد إذا تغيب يطلب آخر أن يجلس مكانه حتى ينقل إليه ما سمع من النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. فكانوا كل يوم هم يزدادون علما مما يبثه النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم، مما ينزل على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. فبث روح السكينة في المجتمع، وبث روح الأخوة والمحبة في المجتمع، وروح الإيمان والإخلاص في العمل. كل هذه جعلت روحا جديدة يحيا بها الناس. هذه الروح الجديدة هي التي جعلت المجتمع الجديد يبرز في المدينة. روح الإيمان هي أساس المجتمع المدني، ووضوح الهدف، وضوح الأهداف. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يمثل هذا المثال الذي يجتمع حوله أصحابه جميعا. كيف نرجع إلى هذا المثال وإلى هذه الأخلاق النبوية التي هي محفوظة لكنها مثل أعلى؟ يمكن للناس دائما أن يجدوا هذا المثل في القرآن وفي سنة النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. إن تخليق المجتمع يمكن أن يكون فقط باللقاء بين الحاكم والحكيم. إذن الرسالة هي رسالة أخلاقية، ليست تغييرا للمجتمع إلا من خلال الأخلاق، وليس تغييرا للمهن، وليس تغييرا للأعمال. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يغير عملا بمهنة، من كان تاجرا بقي تاجرا، لكنه هو تغيير للنفوس. لا بد من تغيير النفوس حتى يتغير المجتمع. المبدأ الأخير هو الطاعة، طاعة الناس للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. جاء رجل إلى قوم يشربون الخمر، قال سمعت أن النبي عند النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم حرمها، وكلهم أراقوا الخمر في الشوارع في المدينة. هذا مبدأ الطاعة مبدأ أساسي في حياة المجتمعات. إذن هو قل كنتم تحبون الله فاتبعوني يحببكم الله. واتباع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم هو السر وهو الكيمياء. محبة الله هي اتباع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم.
Our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from the time he arrived in Medina in 622 to the time he left us in 632, what did he do to transform these people from people who had no relevance in the world and the same people became leaders of the world. So I would really like to start with you, Dr. Sayyid Hussain Nasir. I basically want to ask you this question, that what in your opinion was this, what led to this transformation? Please.
I'm very glad that you have chosen this question, because during the last century or so, certain trends in the Islamic world have tried to belittle the significance of the Prophet ﷺ in Islam itself. We see that in various ways in various countries, including some movements here on. And so it's very, very important to pay attention. It was once said that in order to love God, God has to love you. And God does not love the person who does not love his prophet. So the love of the prophet, which is foundation for the respect for him and following his uswa, are fundamental to the Islamic religion. And the Quran is very succinct in mentioning that for Surah, you have the uswa hasana, the best example, the best model to follow in life. So any Muslim who believes in God must accept, of course, the text of the Quran, which means to follow the uswa of the Prophet. Uswa is a very wide-ranging word, has many, many meanings. And therefore, the significance of following the model of the Prophet must be always there before us. If we're going to have a revival of Islamic society, we have to go back to following this model, which every generation of Muslims have done since the first century. However, there is a difference that is very important to note. You and I who sit here, I'm sitting here in America, Your Excellency is sitting in Pakistan, we do not have the opportunity to go outside of our house and see the Prophet of Islam. We read about him, sometimes we dream about him if we are blessed. We read poems about him and so forth and so on, we discuss him. The Prophet of God, coming out of their house, going to the mosque, in the street, in the souk, to see the Prophet of God, to speak to him. That's unimaginable for us. And that is not an accident. In every religion, around the founder, God places a number of very outstanding people who are chosen through destiny by him to be the carriers of the message of the founder. When the founder of a religion comes, in a sense, heaven and earth meet. It's not the same ordinary situation. The spiritual world somehow descends into our world. I'm just talking like in the apostles of Christ, what role they play in Christianity, follow the Buddha and Buddhism and so forth. In Islam also, although these were simple desert people, they were people whose heart was pure enough to be transformed by the message of Islam and to be able to give everything to it. They were not great intellectuals. There were a few people like Salman al-Farsi or Bilal or other from other civilizations and had some contact with other civilizations. But mostly they were simple Bedouin Arabs. But God gave them this both his opportunity and the character and nature to be able to receive what the Prophet was saying. We cannot conceive, we Muslims of the 21st century, what it would mean to hear a verse of the Quran for the first time from the mouth of the Prophet. That's unimaginable to us. But these people were destined to do so. So the period, not only the Medinan period, which Your Excellency mentioned just a moment ago, but also the Meccan period, which is extremely important, although only a small community. It was the nascent community that then flowered in Medina. In both periods of the Prophet's life, what the Prophet did, which is significant, was to be able to present the message of God, but also have an audience that was so drawn to him, who could hear his message, who give their lives for it, who give their whole thought, transform their language, the way of thinking, and the way of living. The heathenism that exists in the world before it suddenly become